Hello, hello, Haley Jepson. How are you?
I'm good, Maddie Cork. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. And I enjoy this time of year. This is a lovely
Oh,
period for us. I
yes.
think.
Well,
Well, it's autumn, which is our season.
it's our season. Lots of clothes to buy
Yeah.
in the shops.
Yes, this is a big problem. Sometimes a blessing and a curse. Let's call
Yes,
it.
yes. All of
um,
that.
all of the above, and yeah, yeah. Anyway, well, let's not go down a rabbit hole of all of the autumnal
Yeah, let's
garms,
not
as the kids say.
hyper-focus yet.
We'll come to that later. So, I think that we collectively, we as an industry, I think that we spend a lot of time thinking, as we should, how we can make things easier for us. That's really, really important.
Yeah, we
But
focus on that a lot, don't we, in our businesses, I suppose?
yeah, like doing your future self a solid, taking care of
Yeah.
yourself, that whole shebang. But, or should I say, and I also think it's really important to make things easy for clients as well, because
Hmm.
I think, we think, as we it's one of our many topics that we discuss behind the scenes, i.e. why we've brought it into an episode. It works both ways. So if our clients are happy clients, happy bank balance, because it
Hmm.
translates to healthier profit, more
Hmm.
recommendations, higher retention rates, and less hassle, because we're working with
Yeah.
clients who are just a better fit, not these sort of
Yeah.
nightmare
I always
nightmare
think
types.
this as well. I think about this in my business a lot. Make it easy for people to pay you. That sort of
My
thing. Like,
God.
just make things easy for people.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
make them,
it,
don't
well,
make them
we
do too many steps. Make people's lives
we
easy.
privately rage about this, don't we, about things that make us fill in too many forms or there are too many steps. And I'm
Don't
like,
make
just
me
let
press
me
that many
pay you.
buttons. I don't want to look at that many
No,
pages.
no, no, no. Let's just easy life. Team Easy Life is the
Yes.
team that we're on.
Yeah. So, how
And
can we make clients' lives easier? Great.
yeah, absolutely. So I think what's maybe easiest is to look at it in three sections, like as it relates
Hmm.
to the visit, to the appointment. So we think, let's look at pre-appointment. So this
Yeah.
is, how did they find you? Having questions answered. How do they book in? So before the
Hmm.
booking, at the appointment itself. So getting what they need.
Hmm.
Exactly as you've said. How do they actually pay you? Very
Yeah.
important. And then there's the post-appointment, the follow-up, the check-in, the rebooking, the
Yeah.
referrals. So sound good? Should we do a
Sounds
little deep
good. Let's think
dive?
about it in three ways. Yeah, I like it.
Three
Before,
nice,
during,
easy
after.
steps. Yeah. So before, are you searchable online? So I have
Yeah.
done
How are they going to
I remember
find you?
doing, yeah, you can't be a best kept secret. Well,
Yeah.
you don't want to be best kept secret, right? Um, you want to be there. You want to be findable. You want to be searchable. So
Hmm.
like I do Instagram audits sometimes in my programs, and people won't have any, like they'll have a handle that's like really hard to spell or has nothing to do with the business name, or it's loads of underscores and stuff like that. So like when a person searches it, it's like if you search Maddie, I'll come up. If you search boss, I come up. If you search
Hmm.
salon, there might be quite a lot of salons, but for
Hmm.
you, I start typing in Haley
Yeah.
and it already comes up because you've made yourself searchable, like in your
I
usernames.
have. Yes, I had good
We're
training.
doing this.
I think about this a lot. Do you have your location on social media as a hair or beauty person? Because I notice so many people don't, because sometimes people DM me and say, do you want to come to my salon and teach a class? And the first thing I do is go
Yeah,
and look at their profile to see where they are in the
yeah,
country. And so
and
often
it's a
that
mystery.
answer's not
Yeah.
there. And so I know that
Oh,
people are not doing that a lot, and I just
yeah.
think, as a hairdresser and a beauty person, you only really need people in your area. Like, followers in different countries and around the country makes no difference. And so it's like,
Yeah,
you really need your location on there. And as Viv would say, people are searching by location as well
totally.
when they're
Yeah,
looking for
100%.
hairdressers and beauty people. So, yeah.
Definitely. This is like one of my biggest bugbears. It makes me so irate. I remember seeing a local page in the Northeast. It's like a kind of magazine, but it's their Instagram. And they share like top 10 openings this week. And it's always like
Hmm.
restaurants and food. And that obviously my jam. And I looked at one, and out of the 10 they shared, I think something like six didn't have their location. And I was like, I only know they're local because I tagged
Yeah.
all the person who shared them. But anyone else, we send each other food reels all the time. People, if you are lucky enough to have something go viral, and then people go, "Oh, I'd love to come to you to get my hair done." I have no idea where you are.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an in-person service provider with like a physical business, even if you don't have a salon, even if you work from home, you still want to put like the geographic location at the very least. That's one of the biggest qualifiers or disqualifiers for your client, is can I physically get to you?
Yeah.
And if they're not sure, they'll just ping off, they'll just disappear.
I think what it is, I think what's going through hairdressers' minds is that when their location's not on there, I think they think it's only their clients that follow them, and they're not thinking about it as
like bigger picture.
Potential clients are searching online. I found my nail girl by searching on Instagram. You know, I searched my area, think it's maybe like, and then nail art, and up she pops.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, same. Like I found, so my OBM Abby, who's like my right hand woman, like I feel like I would just die if I didn't work with her behind the scenes. I was looking for an OBM for ages, and I found her on Instagram. I just typed in, so an OBM's online business manager, and I just typed in OBM. She came up. I found her. She had like a work with me page. She said, I'm accepting clients. I found a landing page, read it. I was like, this is exactly what I need. And it said how to contact her. So I've now worked with her for like, God, must be 2 years, 3 years. And I literally found her on Instagram. We've never met because she doesn't live, she lives in Lombok. And I just found her on Instagram, and that's been like, I'm one of her like 3 clients for the last few years. So and that's another point, is like, do you tell people that you're accepting bookings and how to book in? Like, I think I've heard from a lot of clients where they'll say, if a page doesn't specifically say taking on new clients or this is how to book, they will assume you're fully booked. Or people have messaged and been like, oh, could I go on a waiting list? And they're like, what do you mean waiting list? I've got space. And they're like, oh, I just assumed, because you're not making that sort of invitation.
Yeah, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it could be on like your bio or something like that, you know, or your captions or something.
It is. And I'll tell you what I want to know, because I visit a lot of salons, you know, teaching, but it's sort of similar in that way that I'm going to new places. And I always want to know, where can I park? Like my first question to salon owners is, where are you? What's the parking situation? You know, these sorts of things. And I think as a client, I don't really want to go anywhere without parking anymore. Like, I don't want to go somewhere and pay 15 quid on the car park for the day. Not interested. I want to know, so make me life easy, entice me, tell me the parking situation, tell me your
especially
prices.
In Manchester.
You know, I've seen people do brilliant videos as well of how to find them. They'll do something like, you get off the train, you turn left, and they'll do the video.
And it's like a
follow
video,
you know, like, and make it easy. Particularly, you know, like sometimes you're in a shopping centre or you're in an arcade and people are a bit like, where is it? I think you can make that so easy. I think people really like to know what to expect. It's very calming on the anxious. And people, like, I don't know about you, but when I'm going on holiday, I'm looking at things, I'm doing the 360 tours, I'm walking down the street on Google Maps, I'm searching the apartment. Like, I kind of want to know what I'm going to get. And I think when people are doing that for their business with hairdressers and beauty, I just think it's brilliant, because sometimes this is what persuades people to come. You made it so easy and the other one didn't. You know, and let people know what are your cancellation policies up front. I want to know that. You know, I've found myself having to ask people sometimes. You know, and I've, you know, been to see new people for my bits and pieces, and it's not been clear, and I've had to say, what is your cancellation policy? And they go, and I think,
I don't want to
I want to know, because you can't just drop it on me when I decide to cancel the day before that wasn't allowed. Like, you got to let me, when you're going to tell me, you know. And so all of these things.
It's expectations, isn't it? It's like, I can't remember if I said it on here or
expectations.
Yeah, it's a calm nervous system.
I love my expectations being managed.
Yeah, like, I love that. Especially the parking or you know, public transport. So if you're coming by public transport, get off this bus stop, or this is the bus from town, or this is the metro station, like, because that's important to people who, are you accessible?
But it's like, you know, if you're going to go and visit a museum or something, it'll say how to get here, and it'll say, from the train, this is how you get here. In a car, this is how you get here. On a bus, this is how you get here. You know,
this is the postcode for your sat nav. Like, just make it so easy.
Here's the postcode for the car park. For the street you're going to park on.
It's free parking, or it's, you know, a pound an hour or what,
It's
you know,
only
whatever it is.
20p as long as you get a ticket, you know, and all of that.
That just makes you feel like,
We're
okay, I
obsessed
know
with
what I'm
parking,
doing.
everyone.
You can tell we could do a whole episode on how much we love to park.
I love those memes that say, I'm not coming unless there's somewhere to park and I can leave by 9, you know. I just think, I feel
100%, that's us, isn't it? I do feel it. My absolute favourite online booking, my favourite topic, and obviously where we talk about online booking, we're shouting out Timely because they're our online booking besties. So I've got some little stats to share. 22% of clients, and I am totally in this camp, said online booking is the reason they return to a business.
Yes.
Because it's the ease, isn't it? It's I know I can rebook, I know I can manage my appointment if anything changes, obviously with enough time, etc. And 58% of online bookings are made out of business hours.
Yeah, I'm doing all mine at midnight in bed.
Yeah, literally. Like, I've just watched like 9 episodes of The Office. I'm like, oh my God, I need to get a cut and blow dry, like whatever.
Oh, I need mine done.
That's reminded me.
But you know, like, with ADHD, the minute it pops into my head, I want to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Like that
otherwise
works
it doesn't
well
get done.
For me. Yeah,
100%.
I think that's so true. And I also think that that's more important, Maddie, to newer clients, because now I'm probably booking when I'm there at a lot of places because I know them well. But in the first few visits, I'm not doing that. I want to manage myself a bit more. And then eventually I'm like, oh, I just book when I'm there because I know what I'm doing. But particularly in the early days of a relationship with a new service provider, I want that sort of thing more. You know,
I would also add to that, and I'm sure there'll be a stat that we have somewhere floating about, but I will book more if I'm booking online. Like, I will personally go, oh, well, I'm already there to get this done.
I'll chuck
a little cheeky eyebrow waxing while I'm there and, you know, doing my whole thing. So,
Well, this leads me on to my next one, which is, do you know what they actually offer? Because I found myself with mainly beauty people, because that's who I'm visiting more, you know, my hairdressing things taken care of. But with beauty people, and sometimes I'll be going for something specific, like let's say waxing, but I don't actually know what other stuff they do. Like I don't even, someone has said to me, go here, she's a great waxer, I go.
And then all you get in there.
Yeah. And then I end up going somewhere else for something. And then, you know, she'll be like, oh, your eyebrows look nice. I go, I went here, and she'll go, you know, I do eyebrows, dear. I don't know. I don't know
didn't you tell me?
Else people. Yeah, and I always go, "What do you do?" I need you to tell me everything that you do. And I find there's just this sort of presumption that people know everything that you do, and we absolutely don't. You know, it's like I need a list in front of me. Send me home with a list. Send me a link of everything. You know, be telling me in your newsletter that what you do. All of this stuff. And I think, like you said, we're not upgrading and going, actually, I'll have this done when I'm there, because we don't know, you know, and there's that stat that McDonald's increased their revenue every year by 15 to 40% because they say, do you want fries with that? And so we could be saying, do you want eyebrows with that? Do you want a treatment with that? You know, well, I think I've really had experience of not realizing what some of my service providers can do.
And there is the stats with this, I don't have them off the top of my head, but it is the easiest person to sell to is an existing customer, and the easiest time to sell to that existing customer is when they are buying something else, because they're in buying mode. They've got the card out, they're like spenny, they're like treat yourself. So just making that offer, do you want a supersize, do you want to add fries, do you want to make that a meal, like what is your equivalent behind the chair?
It's so
even
true.
Just talking about training, like my beauty therapist, shout out Heather at Lemongrass and Ginger, she was just telling me about some training that they did, because they're always upskilling, and she was telling me about, it's called I can't remember the full name, Hydro or something, and it's like, how she described it, it's like a watery bed that you lie on to get a massage, and then you can be massaged if you like so if you've got a really bad back and you're not easily mobile or whatever reasons. And I was like, oh, that just sounds really nice to get to lie down on like a floaty bed. So even just planting the seed, not of a sales way, but just we're doing this training, have you heard of this? I'm excited about it, because it's going to make me next time be like, oh, could I try that? Like, Can I get what? Can I have one of those? So
yeah, but do
even
you know
just things
what?
like that to talk about.
There's a tanning shop just open near me. I don't know what it's called, something tan, and it looks really cool. But I've walked past it and I think, I don't know if it's a sunbed shop or a spray tan place.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is. It's not clear at all which one it is. And it's like, I don't want a sunbed shop, but I might go for a spray tan, particularly because it's down the road. And I'm like, well, I don't know which one it is. And I don't want to have to go in and then be like,
what do you do?
Do you want 15 minutes or 5? And I'll be like, oh, no, I thought you were a spray tan shop. Do you know what I mean? I just think, I don't know. So I'm unlikely to go in because I don't want to find myself in a sunbed shop.
Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? They've not been clear.
I know.
Or they haven't,
Say
maybe
what it
they
is
had
on
like
the
a
tin,
website on the
folks.
window or something, and you could at least go and try and investigate it. But just make customers' life easier.
I was like, is it both? I don't know what it is. I've got no idea.
Yeah.
I might go in actually next time I walk past just to find
next
out.
Episode,
so I can update you on what it is. And I might say to him, might want to put it on the window, gang.
Yeah, just let FYI, yeah.
Yeah. And so let's talk about in the appointment then.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the appointment. And so I think one of the things that we can really get swept away with, particularly when you've known people a long time, is immediately chatting. How's it going with your new boyfriend? What about the divorce? How was the wedding? How was your holiday? And not really spending much time talking about people's hair, skin, nails, whatever it is that they're having,
The thing.
And it's really interesting actually because Carolyn Newman, who I love and was really influential to me actually when I was a young hairdresser, she said to me, spend at least the first 5 minutes when someone sits in your chair talking about their hair. Yeah. And I always really thought about that. She was like, because I've had experiences where people come in and they start talking to me about the divorce or whatever as soon as they sit down, and half an hour later I'm like, what colour do you want? And you can't so I think it's really smart to train people that you start out with business, hair, but I think when you're really, it's a bit like we're a business, this is what we're doing, I'm here to take care of this, and don't let it get so it slips away into a catch-up because you're going to find it harder and harder to sell your products and just be professional in general, I think. And so, let's really have a think about spending some time, especially at the beginning, talking about asking them, how's your hair been? How's your skin been? Just that sort of thing. Yeah.
I would even say, can't wait to get the goss before we start quickly what we're doing.
That's what I had to get into eventually.
Yeah, that's what I would that's how I would word it, I think, to be like before we
I'm
come
desperate
in.
to hear about the wedding. However, let's do this first. And I think people will then
crack on. Yeah.
And if you do it more, people will sit down and go and actually say to you, right, let's talk hair so we can get to wedding.
Yeah.
And I think you can really sort of create a culture. So I love that.
Yeah, train it in. Something I think about a lot is what I would call the curse of knowledge, and I see this in basically anyone who's proficient in what they do, and it's where we know a lot about our thing. So we know about our things now. You were a hairdresser, I was an extensionist, so we can presume, well, isn't that obvious? Doesn't the client know that they need to do this, or doesn't the client know that this is the aftercare that they need, or kind of back to what you're saying about the offers that you've got, but in terms, this is more maybe the aftercare side, especially if we're thinking about products and upselling. And
but even just taking care of people, I think it's taking care of people, letting them know what the aftercare is, because with certain things it's really important. But I've definitely experienced that where I've said to people, how do I look after this? And they're like, oh, you get this, can I buy it?
And you feel almost embarrassed. Yeah, because you're like, well, no, I don't know what I need to do. And obviously in the nail tech world, everyone talks about cuticle oil, but your client might not follow any other nail techs. They might just follow you. They've never seen this before, and it's not that, it's just not assuming that the client knows everything. But obviously you can we're not going to teach them to suck eggs and be like, do you know how to brush your hair? But you can just be like, do you want to recap on aftercare, or how do you feel with aftercare? Let me know.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go through this with you?
I think sometimes people feel like aftercare is selling because sometimes you are recommending products. But
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as much. I think that's what put people off. When there's a lot of people out there, and I was definitely guilty of this at certain times in my career, of feeling really I didn't want to sell. And so I
Yeah.
sometimes wasn't telling people how to look after stuff because I felt like I was selling.
Felt like a sales pitch.
But
Yeah.
I think if you're teaching people how to get the most out of what they're spending their money on, it comes from a really kind place.
Yeah, it's a
And
place
as a
of service,
client,
isn't it?
I'm much more of a client now these days to many people.
Yeah.
I really want that.
Oh,
And I'm
yeah. Like,
asking
I
for
want
it
to
when I'm
know.
not getting it, and I just think, why aren't you telling me?
Because we love a gold star, I want you to tell me how I can get a gold star. Like, tell me how I can
Yes,
be
how
like
can
the
I be the
best
best
nail
client?
client. Yeah, like I want to have my nails immaculate next time I see you. Like, let us know how we
Yeah.
can do that. And there was something, I listened to a podcast this morning, which I thought was dead interesting. And it was talking about, it's more from like a marketing perspective, but it was, so this guy done some work with Procter and Gamble, who own like everything, but they do, they own like Febreze and kitchen roll, most of your things in your kitchen or in your utility cupboards are owned by these. And he was saying about hair products, and he said there's the common belief of the consumer is that hair needs like nourishment, like food. So like Pantene were one of their companies, and he was like, it doesn't in the way that they word it because it's not a living tissue, but the consumer belief is this, so their adverts say that, so they like go against what is like scientifically true, because they're like, it's not about us trying to change the mind of these people. He said it was the same for Pledge, like just like a furniture spray. People got obsessed with this idea that like wood needed nourishment, and he's like, it doesn't really, like, it doesn't actually need this thing, but this is what we're gonna,
particularly when it's been varnished,
like,
she's like,
yeah,
no need to
yeah.
feed.
So it's like, what's your customers understanding at the moment? How do we meet them there and be like, do you know how there's this is how you can take care of it? And obviously we're not by all means selling anything that a person doesn't need ever, but it's like understanding what their knowledge and their beliefs around the product and service are, and then being like, okay, so that's that, this is how we can get the best
and sometimes, and if you don't do it, this is what is possible will happen. This is the thing. And I think that's fine. I'm a big fan of creating a culture, like I was saying, do your 5 minutes of hair talk at the beginning and all of that. And so I think there's something about, pre-framing your appointment, saying this is how the appointment's going to go. You talk about it, and to say, as I'm doing your hair, I will recommend products. As I'm talking, when we're talking about your hair, I'll mention things that we need, and then I'll, we'll recap it at the end. And so it becomes part of the conversation and the education more than being at the till going, are you all right for shampoo?
That's honestly, if I would hear that, if I tell them, do you need any shampoo? I'm like, you have missed a trick. Like, you have missed all of this opportunity. It's the equivalent of like the Primark tills, where they're just like, do you need socks? Do you need bubbles? Do you need a tiny umbrella?
As you're in the queue, and you're like, if I was queuing for long enough, if there was a massive queue at the salon, you would do that, wouldn't you? But I think it's really, I like the idea of saying, I will recommend you products, and then it becoming more conversational than being like, no, I'm going to sell and it's going to be weird. So
you're telling them what, again, it's an expectation thing. And I'm massive on like consent-based selling, where I'll say, okay, this is how it usually goes down. I'm going to take a look at your hair. We're going to go through a plan together. We'll look at because I would do an online booking pre-consultation form. We'll go through that. We'll come up with a couple of options, couple of budgets. You can tell me which one suits you. If you go ahead, then this is what's going to happen. I'll recommend some aftercare to you based on what you've said about like your lifestyle and how does that sound? Does that sound okay? And they're like, yeah, amazing. So I'm like, okay, so we've done this bit. Now we're going to move on to this bit, and it's just,
and then it happens.
Agreed to it, and then it happens,
and then it
happens. It's fine. So you're not building yourself up to like, oh my god, I'm going to have to sell. I'm going to have to do the bit where I sell, like, because you told them, and they've given you permission. So it's like, that's fine. It feels much easier, I think, to do it that way. One thing that I had behind the chair that I would really recommend to everyone is this like open door policy. So when I was kind of doing I would do a bit in the consultation, but I'd do it as well at the end of like their first visit. Like, my thing was extensions, and they are tricky to take care of, especially the first time, and they can like feel a certain way, and you've got to wash them a different way, and sometimes it can feel too much for people, or like sensory things. So I would just say, look, like, you have to, I can do a great job in here, but you have to wear these for the next 3 months. So if you go away and you feel like they're too heavy, or you want a few more in, or you want them cutting a little bit or blending a little bit more, or you wash it and your partner moves and one of them is visible, like, that's absolutely fine. Those things could happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to text you in a week. I'm going to see how you are, and that's your opportunity to just let me know how it's going.
Yeah.
I do like a free, I would do like a free, what I'd call like a maintenance check appointment.
Yeah.
Most like repeat clients didn't need it, but like my first time clients did. And
Is that
that,
where you do a blow
honestly,
dry like a week or two later and stuff, so you can check it?
Honestly, I
Did you
wouldn't
do
even
that
do a
sort of
blow
thing?
dry. Like, I would just literally go through. I would like separate, any that are starting to, like, sometimes fuse together. It's a great thing to prevent any absolute
Yeah.
cock ups later, because you can see, okay, they're not separating. So I'd go, that's what I need. That's what I'm going to teach you, and I'm going to show you, and you're going to show me how you're doing it, and or if they're not brushing it properly or something like that. And just again saying to them, like, and I'd say, like, you can't hurt my feelings, like, because I think
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are so, there's that whole thing of people don't complain, they just don't come back.
Yeah,
And
that's what I've done. I recently
oh God, totally. Oh, have
went
you?
for a massage and I won't be going back. And I didn't
Yeah.
complain. I just couldn't be bothered. I thought, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because if I complain, I'm not really going to want to go back. Like if
Yeah.
what I had to say. And so I just thought, but I just think, yeah, there was things like the receptionist could have asked me a few questions and I might have said
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean? But
like experience things, yeah.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things, but I really think saying things like, you can't hurt my feelings, I'm going to check in with you in a week, and that's your opportunity.
This is your opportunity.
So someone's not sat at home feeling like, when am I going to say this? Oh, I've got to send a message. Like, I always say this, set your stall out, be really clear of what's going to happen and make sure it does. I think that's the real thing, isn't it?
And if you think from the sort of financial perspective, like, we see that if a client returns once, the chance of them staying for a much longer is high, but if they return a second time, it's like through the roof. So like, it's crucial really for us to focus on, obviously we're always delivering good service, but if you can rebook a new client, that is like, should be a real big objective for people.
Yeah.
And this is where the sort of danger zone is for people to just drop off and never come back. And again, it's like damage limitation. If someone, if you went away and started talking about this place and someone asked about it and you're like, oh no, I wouldn't go back there. Like, but the business has no idea that this is going on because they've never had a chance to speak to you or rectify. And I totally get why as a client you do that. And like, the lifetime value of a client, your client isn't just paying you for that one appointment that they come to. If they visit you every 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks, like, my clients would stay with me for years. I had clients who'd been to me over 10 years. The lifetime value financially is like multiple thousands of pounds. So if we can make them feel really happy, really heard, really
it's creating a good experience, isn't it? You know what I want now when I go to places is a nice experience. And one of the things that really matters to me is how you can pay. Do you know, like, cash only is not happening for me anymore because I don't have any cash, because no one pays me cash.
Yeah.
I find it really frustrating. Like, I haven't paid my window cleaner in months because I never have any cash when he knocks on the door. My neighbours have to keep paying him. But, like, when I go somewhere and it's cash only, I think, and particularly when they tell you when you arrive, you're already there.
A sign on the desk,
Or, it's the end of your appointment and they go, oh, we don't take cards. And you're like, are you joking? Unless there's a cash machine outside, this is a problem.
We went to a pub and it was cash only when we got there. We had to walk in and just turn around because I was like, I don't have... And I literally went to the pub next door and we got drinks and sat outside, and I was like, we literally would have had them from the other place, but we didn't because it was cash only. And then you have the awkward...
and I think, moment. There does seem to be a bit of a movement where people are really leaning into cash and all of that. But I think, happy clients, happy bank balance, make it easy for people to give you money. You know, I mean, I had a phase where before I had a card machine, people were wanting to do bank transfers because they didn't have cash. They wanted to pay on a card, and the middle ground is like the bank transfer thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I spent hours chasing people, reminding them to pay because they were doing it when, I'll do it when I get home.
Blank, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, stop it. I want to tap my card. I want to leave and I don't want to think about it again. I don't want to have to remember to pay you. And so I just think make it easy for people to give you money. That's the main
Yeah.
thing.
Or if
All of that.
you're adamant on taking cash, tell people up front. Like, don't, because what I see is people taking cash only and then moaning because someone's turned up, didn't have the cash because they were never made aware it was cash only, didn't have their bank card with them. They quite rightly didn't want to do the service without payment.
Well, they wanted to pay on a credit card. What about that? Some people haven't got the money in the bank and they want to pay on a credit card,
my air miles,
which happens a lot with Stennies.
If I can't pay on a credit card and get my air miles, honestly, every invoice I pay, if they send me a bank transfer, I always email and go, so anyway, I can pay by card because I just think I'll transfer my own because I get air miles. So and then they'll be the first ones to kick off and go, oh my God, my clients are taking the piss. I've lost 3 hours of work today. And it's like, but you were kind of responsible for not communicating this really important.
I think if you're cash only, have it on your reminders.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow at 3. Just a reminder we're cash only, but really, get a card reader.
I pay my tattoo artist in cash, and I change banks. I used to bank with Barclays, so there was a Barclays on my walk from, like, she's in Essex, from the tube station to her. So I was like, that's fine, I can go in and take money out. And I changed to a bank that doesn't have branches. So now I have to, it's an ordeal. I have to go to the post office and take 300 out over 2 days. So I have to do 2 daily trips. To be fair, she's amazing. She's just like, just transfer it or just send me by PayPal. But I know that the preference is to pay in cash. And it makes me have to think so much beforehand.
Yeah.
And it would just be easier if it was like, this is how we're going to take payment. And I probably would just buy a bunch of, like goodies and stuff.
I've actually got to go to the bank today. Actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Tesco and I'm going to get cash back because that's the easiest way for me to get cash and put 20 quid in a drawer because when that window cleaner knocks on the door next, I better have some money for him. It's on my list of things to do.
It's so funny, isn't it? Like, now cash is like
said get a card machine, gang, so I can just tap your card or do a direct debit, like a something.
It's 2024, guys. Come on, move on.
Anyway, we'll start doing a podcast. We could do a whole episode on this.
I think as well, like, just having consistency in the client experience. So the client's not coming in one time they get a coffee, another time they don't. One time they get a consultation, another time they don't. One time they get a head massage, another time they don't. Like, because clients can we're humans, so we make stories about things. We can make stories about, oh, well, why didn't I get that? And why did I get that? They were in a rush
today. They were in a rush.
Yeah, this must mean this, or they're not grateful for my business. And then when
people think you're in a rush, they start checking their air.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
and all so that just sort of thing.
Yeah,
be consistent.
I think it's good to even process this out and literally just write yourself like a Google Doc or a Notes app and just say, this is what every client gets every single visit.
Because when you give something one time and then it doesn't happen, it feels like it's been taken away.
Yes.
People don't want things being taken away.
No.
That doesn't feel nice, does it? I think that the service matters more to me these days. The ease and the service matters massively.
Definitely.
All of that. Yeah. I think not being complacent is one of the really good ways to make your clients happy. It's that thing of when people start to think that you're rushing or you're getting complacent or, it's like you've stopped. You get a new client and they'll just say, I left my last hairdresser, she got lazy.
Well, I remember we got a client who I knew her old hairdresser and I was really surprised when she booked in. And I said, can I ask what happened? Is everything okay? And she said, I absolutely love the girl. She'd gone to her for 15 years and they were friends, like had become friends, hung out with each other outside of this, went on holiday together. And she said, the final straw for me was I pulled up, got out the car and she was already mixing me colour. And she just said there was no conversation, there was no, and it was just stuff like, she would be like having a smoke out front and be like, I'll be in a few minutes, or just like texting someone. Like it just became really, and we did that episode, Can You Be Friends with Your Clients? It was the extreme of this, and it was I knew it was really hard for her because she was like, I know I'm going to lose the friendship.
All professionalness went because she thought it's just my friend. But I bet this friend, because this friend started out as a client, she will definitely have been paying full price.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think she was.
Which makes it that bit worse.
Honestly, it was just, I was like, okay, I totally understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
The last thing I can think of for at the appointment is the rebooking process. So like you were saying, as a client, you do tend to rebook there and then. I don't mind rebooking myself if I'm, because I still have a little people pleaser with me where I'm like, I'll just go away and I'll book my next ones in. But either can you be doing it for them? Is there, I know someone who has a QR code on the mirror, and literally when she's doing their hair, she says, scan the QR code and make sure you've got your next one in. So it's still online, but it's them. She knows that they're booking themselves in, but obviously, you can do that at the till or however you prefer to do that.
Yeah, but make it clear how you can do it.
Yeah, that's it. Just give them
Do
the
it for them.
means to do it. Yeah,
give them the means to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
I'm always booking on the day with all my people because they're all busy.
Busy bees, yeah.
Crackers busy. So what we on to next? Après appointments.
So post-appointment, my God, the fortune is in the follow-up. I do something inside of, I've got a program called Elevate, and we do something called Booked Out Bootcamp, and people could honestly spew at the idea of doing this, but I make them do it, and it's following up with people. And they're like, no, people don't want, they don't want a message. They'll message me. They know how to get to me. And I'm like, do the freaking follow-up. They are making like hundreds, if not thousands in bookings, because exactly what we were saying, your clients go, oh yeah, I keep thinking to book in with you, but because you don't have online booking, or because I work 9 to 5 when your phone line's open, or whatever reason, I haven't booked in, or I haven't rebooked. So just that check-in, even if it is the whole, how's everything going, just want to check your hair's okay, how are your nails doing, is there anything that you need from me?
Yeah.
Great service, but there is like so much money to be made in that one message.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed when I started doing coaching courses online and stuff, I met a lot of hairdressers in America who were doing similar courses to me, the same courses as me. And what I noticed, and I started coaching hairdressers in America, and what I was noticing is really common there is a week after appointments, checking in with people. How's your hair doing?
It's insane that we don't do that.
Practice. It's not standard practice over here, and it's pretty standard practice in America. They have systems.
We need to learn from our buddies.
I had someone who was writing handwritten cards for new clients and all sorts of stuff.
There's so much more we can be doing, I think. Yeah,
bougie service, very nice.
I love it.
So post-appointment also timely as another stat that people who use their advanced messaging service see their rebooking rates increase by 15% on average, which is massive.
I love that, and I'll raise you that, Hurley, with another timely stat. We've got our stat. I feel like I've got my whiteboard behind me. I don't really. Timely, so Timely's a great booking system. Shout out Timely, they're our partners, but they shared a stat with us that clients who use their salons and providers who use their rebooking reminders see rebooking rates increase by 11%. And that's like an automating. You just set that up. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Which on average means they generate £4,438 more in rebooked appointments.
That's more than 11% what it'll cost you for a year to nearly £4,500.
It's insane. This is what I mean, is these tiny little changes have like super compound.
These incremental things add up to the happy bank balance, don't they? All these little things. And what I like is that so many of these things you can automate.
Yeah.
Particularly if you've got Timely. Shout out Timely.
Exactly. Right. Big up Timely. Shall we do a little final thought?
Yes.
Wrap this baby up. So when you've next got some time, guys, I would just recommend going in your calendar now when you've next got maybe like an hour 30, whatever. Just do like a mini audit of these 3 phases. So just think, right, what's going on before someone books? What's going on during? What's going on after? If you want to listen back to this, pause it. Make a list of like opportunities, like where am I just missing these small opportunities, and just get them implemented, because we've seen in the stats like the numbers are absolutely huge, and it's a great service for your clients as well.
And we know now that great service is really what gives you the edge, because there's a lot of great hairdressers, there's a lot of great nail techs, but the service is really what's giving you the edge, I think. I want to go to people with good service. My final thought is I would just really reflect on where you're getting good service. When like, who are you spending money with? Not even always in the hair and beauty industry. Maybe it's where you go and get your car MOT'd. Maybe it's your window cleaner with a card machine. But whatever it is, but think about where you're getting good service and thinking, how can I bring that into my business?
Yeah.
You know, where people are making your life easier, just keep looking for inspiration for that and thinking about how you can bring that into your business, and really reflect on how it makes you feel when
Yeah,
someone
like
makes your life easier.
literally, like this morning, Aidan made us some porridge and a nice coffee, and I was like, for me, that's like the kindest act ever, is to just go, I know you're really busy today, so I'm going to do this thing that's going to nourish you,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to worry about it. Like, it's the equivalent of doing this for our clients in our business, is how can we like
Yeah.
preempt what they might need and want, and put it in front of them, and because it feels so nice, especially for really busy people, a lot
It's
of
like
busy
looking
moms, busy
after
business
someone.
people. Yeah, just going,
It
I'm going to
is. It
take
feels
care
like
of you.
being
It's
looked
so nice.
after.
It's the best,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
It's
definitely have that with some
lush.
of my service providers, really. They've got
Yeah,
it
that's all we want.
nailed
Yeah, we love
down.
them. I love it.
Great. So before we get into Hyperfocus, we've got some shameless plugs, haven't we, Maddie, this week?
It's been a while since
We have not had
done
a shameless plug for a while, but we've got to. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, mine, I mean, it's available anytime for people, but I think it's a great time of year to be looking at this in the run-up to Crimbo crazy season, while you've still got the time clinging on for dear life, is my pricing calculator, Boss Your Profits. If you haven't used it, come on, guys, get enrolled. It's so good. We put a really good, juicy update in earlier this year, which makes it so freaking easy. It works out all your prices, specifically every single price to the penny, what you need to charge to hit your goals. And we have this really cool product catalogue. So if the price, let's say your bleach goes up by £1, you put that in once and it will automatically calculate every single service that uses that for you. So it's
nice.
The first one takes
Did
a little bit of time,
their
not
life
much.
easier, Maddie?
Because I love to make your life easier. Exactly. Oh, that's a great full circle. Thanks, Hayley. I love that. But I'll stick the link in the show notes, but you can get it at bossyoursalon.com/bossyourprofits. What's yours?
Mine is, I have run a leadership coaching course for a few years called Lead from the Heart. And now this has been condensed into a day course, and I'm teaching it at the L'Oreal Academy in London this month.
How exciting.
And so if you're a salon owner and you would like to learn modern leadership skills, how to connect with your team, how to make your life easier, their life easier, I'm running this on the 25th of October. You can book this through L'Oreal Access. Whether you are a L'Oreal salon or not, it makes no difference.
Oh,
You
that's
can
so
still
kind
book
of them,
the
isn't it?
course, but it's just I'm doing it at L'Oreal, and it's a brilliant course. This, I think, is really good for people who are maybe a little nervous of being seen as the leader. People who say things like, I just want to be friends with everyone and we're all equal. And I'm
I just want to do hair.
yeah, that's not how this works, sadly. And, I think leadership skills are really important. And I think sadly lacking in our industry. There's not a lot of leadership courses to choose from. And a lot of them, when you get on them, they tend to become quite business focused. It's all KPIs. And I'm like, mine's the opposite. There's no money chat. There's no targets. It's like, how do you motivate people? How do you connect with people? How do you look after them? How do you hold your boundaries? How do you have difficult conversations? How do you get people to trust you? How do you have a healthy culture? It's all that sort of stuff. It's great. Amazing. And so this is now a day course on the 25th of October, and you can book it on L'Oreal Access.
Amazing. Hell of a plug. I love it.
Yes.
As always, I just want to do all your courses, even though I don't do that.
Oh, I know. Imagine when you were a salon owner, it'd have been so good.
I wish I had you in my life. I know, back then. Should we do a little cheeky hyper-focus then?
Yes. Yeah. I've got a mad one at the minute.
Go on.
So, you know how Jason Bateman is my big crush?
Yes.
Do you know this? You know this,
I think
don't
I do know this,
yeah. Jason Bateman is he's my Pedro Pascal,
Right, okay.
Jason Bateman's been top of the list for a good few years now. And recently, I go in and out of listening. He's got a podcast with Will Arnett and Sean Hayes. Yeah. Sean Hayes is Just Jack from Will and Grace.
Oh, yeah.
And Will Arnett was in Arrested Development with him. Anyway, I've started walking a lot. And, I've been getting my steps in now for a good few months. I'm double down on the podcast. I've started listening to Smartless, which is their podcast, which is brilliant. It's really funny. They interview actors mainly and just take the piss out of them. It's brilliant. And it's really funny, but I just love Jason so much. So because I've been listening to him, it started to reignite the Jason hyperfocus. So consequently, I just basically go onto every streaming service I've got now, put Jason Bateman in the search, and I'm just watching anything available.
That's so funny.
So I'm watching Identity Feed, loads of daft comedies,
like random like action films.
Yeah, like bits he's in, like bits he did 20 years ago. He's in for 5 minutes. I watched a really good film though he did the other day, and it was his first director. He started directing.
Oh, well done,
and he
Jason.
does this film called Bad Words, and it's about this grown man who finds a loophole in they do a big thing called the spelling bee in America.
Yeah.
It's like a spelling test, but it's quite a big national thing there. And he finds a loophole, and as a 40-odd-year-old man joins the spelling bee, and everyone's furious because it's full of kids. It's just ridiculous. But that was good. And I'm watching Arrested Development again for the millionth time because it's so good.
So good.
But what's funny is, because Will Arnett's, you see how obsessed I am, because Will Arnett's in Arrested Development as well. They talk about it sometimes on the podcast, and they'll talk about certain bits that were funny, like where they were laughing their head off. So last night I was literally finding the episode so I could watch the bit they were talking about, and it's it just is funny. So that I'm fully obsessed with Jason Bateman is big hyperfocus at the moment.
You're in the Bateman.
I'm in the Bateman zone. I mean, I'm always in it, but every now and again it ramps up a bit.
Same. I'm the same with Pascal, where I'm like, he's always there, ever present, but I'm not back into a full hype just yet.
Well, let me tell you this, Maddie. I've noticed that Pascal is one of their guests, and I've not listened to it yet.
Shut up.
So you could potentially listen to that episode, and then you'll get into Smartless as well. Well,
when I was in my big Pedro hype, I feel like I'm a person in like recovery here. I'm like back when it was really at the height of its, and it was taking up a lot of my time. I did the same, and I would search him on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and there's something where he does a reading from Shakespeare or something like that, and people have since sent it to me because I get sent every single Pedro thing. And I was listening to it, and I was like, this is the most moving thing I've ever heard. Then I was like, Maddie, you need to get a grip.
Should we get him married again? You'd be playing it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think Pedro reads, what's it called? Daisy and the Six or something. Is it called Daisy and the Six?
Oh, I don't know. Like a voice actor.
It's a Yeah, it's a book. But I listened to the audio when I was on holiday, and it kind of is a bit like a play, the way that they do it. But I'm fairly confident he's the narrator.
This may be a slippery slope for me, so I'm going to go in thinking, is it worth
by the next episode, we're going to be like, listen.
Peds is back, I know.
Peds is back.
Peds is back on the agenda. Mine's really random. Mine's always like clothes related. So I spoke to you about this privately the other day, but we're having a big sort of clear out of things, and I'm in this, last year I got really into like elevated loungewear, and I thought if you're in a position to, it's nice to buy stuff that's well made because it'll last for ages, and it's not, I understand people need to buy fast fashion, but if you don't, then it can be good to get something that's going to last a bit longer. So I'm kind of in that space anyway, but I'm getting a bit obsessed with like linens, and I'm in the Real Linen algorithm, and I think because I got something that I have a few bits I wore in Vegas or LA because it's so good for like obviously really hot weather, terrible for ironing, but anyway.
Oh, I know. And terrible for sitting down in, Maddie.
I know. There's a couple of people that I follow who are doing like layers of things and like sort of, I can't really describe it, but whether they'll have like a skirt and then like a linen-y top, but it's because I tend to do like little top, big trousers. That's my combo. But anyway, it just looks so nice, and I'm like, I don't know if it's for me or not, because often I'll wear like band shirts or whatever, and it's not that, but I don't know.
It's good when it's hot, though, isn't it?
It's very good. Terrible this time of year, but very good for when it's hot.
But all on sale at this time of year. You can get a lot of good stuff in the sales. Like, I tend to buy a lot of the expensive things I like. Like there's a couple of sandals and things that I like. I buy them in the winter because they're on sale. Interestingly, like we were boiling in Vegas. I went to Slovenia with my mate Joanna, and it was so hot we wanted to die. And she got obsessed with linen as well when we came back from there.
Big linen.
And was like ordering £1 million worth of linen things. She was like, I can never be this hot again. I can never be this hot
I
again.
think that's what it is. You just have to be really hot once and go, regular clothes are not designed for this. I can't have any
Yeah.
like unnatural fabrics anymore.
Yeah.
So, but Vinted's been good. I've got a couple of bits. I got something from, like, I love collars, like their stuff's really nice. Or like 100% cotton is really lovely as well. So I've got a
Have
few
you
little
seen,
bargains.
is it called Unfolded? Is it called Unfolded, the linen brand that's nice? Unfolded?
Opens a new tab. Unfolded.
Yeah. Unfolded or Sunfolded or something
It's
like
called
that.
Unfolded. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up because I'm going to go and look at
Yeah, you go look at linens. I'm going to go and watch Arrested Development.
Yeah. All right, pal. I'll speak to you next time. See you in a bit.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments.
Please support those who support us and check out Timely, who we recommend is our favourite booking system for you. New customers can get 50% off their first 3 months with a code COFFEE50.